Hi, Vern Densler here, CTO at Blue Water Components, and we are here to tell you a little bit about what's going on, kind of do a end of the year wrap up, and talk about some things that are happening next year. Um, I'm joined here by Wes, who's the president now of Blue Water, and he's going to talk a little bit about himself, and Butch, who is the now CEO of Blue Water. So this is part of our great team as we go on through next year. We'll be introducing you to other members of the team and some of our partners, and this will become a regular kind of thing. So I guess, Butch, why don't you start off and you can tell a little bit of history and how we got where we are, and we'll go from there.
All right. We're primarily in the semiconductor electronic component world, and I had a very bizarre series of events to get into this industry that largely no one knows exists, but everybody needs it. Looking after hard to get chips, obsolete chips. Again, it's a world nobody knows about, and it's a massive, massive marketplace. So the way I got into it was right out of college. Had no job prospects. Forethought was not my forte at that age. And just kind of took whatever came and got a job at a company called America 2 and truly liked what I was doing. And then after about 8 years, had kind of hit the glass ceiling there and said, let's go do it on our own. Sat out a 2-year non-compete and was able to grow the business to a sustainable level, but looking after 2 kids, being married, 2 dogs, 6 cats. Yes, I'm a crazy cat lady. It was just very hard, and running another business is very hard for me to scale. So then serendipity met Wes. We probably interacted for about 6 months and then started talking, real talk, and just everything aligned. His skill set is exactly where I have deficiencies. I've got some stuff where he doesn't have experience, doesn't have knowledge, so we complement each other very well. And the next addition to the team was the amazing Vern. So that's 20 years in a nutshell. And I just say our overall ethos is win-win. We want to look after customers. We want to have long-term relationships. We want your company to be healthy, just like ours. A lot of the time in this industry, it's kind of predatory, and it's just counterproductive. You're not helping yourself out. You're not helping your customer out, and you're not really forming long-term relationships or even friendships with people when it's that's your mentality. So I think that's why we've been able to succeed. It's kind of seems incredibly silly and low tech to say. We're talking about AI and all the stuff we're doing. But just being nice is, kind of our core fundamental. Obviously you have brilliant people around you, but there's lots of brilliant people that aren't nice, that are unscrupulous, unfriendly. So yeah, we've got some magic going on, Vern.
Yeah, awesome. And yeah, Wes, why don't you kind of tell a little bit about your background, because it's definitely interesting.
Yeah, my background's a little bit it's a little bit more sporadic than the rest of us on the team, that's for sure. I used to work at Gartner, a company doing IT research and advisory, and I did some work in the defense industry. So I'm familiar with aerospace, which is where Blue Water really lived and thrived until Butch and I got connected. And we've been able to since expand that vision a little bit to touch on different market segments. For me, I worked in this industry as a broker when I got out of college. And it was one of those situations where I learned a lot, and I always refer to it as my business boot camp. But I didn't think it was what I wanted to do. And so then I left and I became a professional question asker. And I learned, my professional training in customer service and client service and being, that all-in-one, person that people go to when the world's on fire. And so all we've done here is really take some of the writing on the wall that I used to see every day and put it on the wall again. Do the right thing, and the right things follow. So that's kind of a not so answer as to how I got to Blue Water Components. Butch and I met each other through some board work in the region. I'm involved with the group Southwest Florida Technology as the Director of Community Engagement. And that's one of a few different initiatives that Butch and I have our hands in to help grow the area from an economic development standpoint. Our whole region is a place that people are flocking to across the country. And we'd like to help make sure that it's a place that people don't just vacation, but they stay and they have actual job prospects. So that was one of the things that Butch and I really connected on early as the vision started to expand.
Awesome. Yeah, I mean, I came from aerospace, as a lot of people know, and then went out into the component data world and then into the broker world, and so I've kind of done a lot of the same things. And interestingly enough, I had a lot of exposure to Gartner back when I was in aerospace, because we were probably one of the biggest customers over there in the aerospace industry. Love your symposiums; they were a lot of fun. The ones in Orlando were awesome.
They're always a good time. It's the best it's the best way to meet people, and just to that point, to that end, that's how you and I got to meet each other.
Yep.
Almost through some of the industry colleagues that I've been fortunate to now call friends in the last 6 months.
Yeah. Awesome. So, I mean, to either one of you who wants to take it first, or if you, I don't know, if you even have it, but you talked about how you kind of got into the industry, but what was the first?
I love the monologue about how I got interested in electronics. If anybody wants to listen, because it's not that compelling of a story.
Yeah.
When I was a kid, I grew up in the copier business, which does not sound exhilarating, and it wasn't. But I was a child, and I had a front row seat to see how distribution of hardware worked. And because of that, and then my father's interest in Pac-Man, I got into arcade games when I was a kid. And so I actually have a pinball machine, an arcade game. My dad and I play Miss Pac-Man together all the time. He still has a high score, but we're working on that. But that's how I got in. That's how I got interested in electronics originally, was through the copier business and arcade games.
And what about you, Butch? What was your kind of first thing where you said, "Hey, electronics is cool"?
I had an equally unexpected origin story. My best friend, so we graduated college, we had jobs outside of college, and my best friend was a IT administrator at Harvard, of all places, and came down and had gotten a job as an IT person, and we would play online video games when that was a novel thing. And I was always asking him questions like, why is my screen doing this or that? And so whenever he'd come over, he would quite literally change the setting on my computer on purpose and would refuse to tell me what he did until I figured out how to. So he kind of annoyingly trained me in IT. And then I got to the point of proficiency where I was, upgrading hard drives, memory. And, at the same time, I'm like, holy cow, I'm selling this stuff. When I'm looking at a circuit board, that's why I keep this thing here. It's like a good visual. That's what we sell. And so it was kind of fun, and then I just, natural curiosity. I used to think it was cheesy, the lifetime learner saying, but that's 100% who I am. I think it's who all of us are. It was just intriguing. So I just wanted to go down the path. And then, you get to a point, a lot of the time what we do for our business is we solve problems. And having a kind of more universal understanding of how, our customers' products work, we can offer good solutions that sometimes you do need like a third party to kind of say, hey, what about this? We're all guilty. I'm, more than anybody, you're blind to stuff until somebody, says, hey, look at this. And voila, you have a solution. So that's, I got dragged kicking and screaming into the technology world, but I learned.
So I was kind of probably earlier than you guys on computers. My first computer that we had was a Timex ZX81 that my brother built from a parts kit when he was in college. It was like the first really home computer. And then worked my way up through those. And of course, the old Radio Shack and, the color computer. And then I skipped right past the Commodore 64 though and went right to the Commodore 128. So I was lucky there. I got a very nice Christmas present one year. but
Nice.
to really getting into true electronics, and I messed around with some stuff when I was younger, but in high school we were offered a class, and the first one was actually electricity. So it was kind of just the general, you know, how to shock yourself, and the theories and things like that. And then the second course following on to that was a full-on electronics class, and where we actually learned how to solder properly, and actually design circuits and build things. And it
All
was
I had was wood shop. What the heck?
it was fairly unique at the time. And I also had data processing, which was early at that time, showing my age, where
We called it typing, Vern.
Yeah.
now it's called data processing. It was typing when I
Believe
literally
it or not,
on a old school, not even electronic. It was true analog typewriter.
that was one of the prerequisites for the data processing class, was you had to pass typing.
Yeah, I believe
They
it.
wouldn't let you take. It's like,
See, now I'm going to show my age. I had to be proficient in Microsoft Office to pass middle school. Just throw that out there.
I
And
would
you
have
had to
never
take-
passed middle school.
And you had to take keyboarding, right? Isn't that
Oh,
what
yeah,
that's?
keyboarding, the cover on the thing, and you had to know the home row. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. They changed it from typing to keyboarding. Yeah, that's when my kids and stepkids told me they were taking keyboarding. I'm like, what?
I didn't know you played piano.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, so I was early on. Yeah, it's but yeah, that is really what piqued a lot of my interest. As a matter of fact, I still remember we in the second class we used to get to help fix the old TVs that they used to roll in on the carts, the big
Yeah.
Mhm.
TVs that would go into the classrooms. That's he repaired them all. The teacher, he was a trip. Let me tell you, the guy was very exactly what you would think for somebody teaching electronics in high school.
Isn't it amazing how one teacher can make that big of an impact?
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's a great story, bro.
Yeah.
But so
It
we he fixed the TVs in there, and we would get to help in the advanced class, because he trusted us enough to know what we were doing after being with him for 2 classes. And I still remember one of the TVs that he was testing after the repair was on in the classroom when the Challenger exploded. And so
Oh.
we were sitting in electronics class, and just he happened to just have it on because, like I said, because he was testing the TV that was repaired earlier in the day. And I was like, wow. Yeah. So I still remember, sitting in that class, and had I been in any other class, I wouldn't have seen it.
Yeah, that's amazing. I do remember that too. I remember being outside seeing it.
What year was this?
80.
1874.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay, got it.
What was that? It was 83, right?
Yeah, 80 something. I don't know.
It was 82.
I was
or
a
83.
glimmer in someone's eye.
Yeah.
I was in Maryland at the time, so we didn't go outside to watch them.
Yeah. I mean, I was in Tampa, so I mean, you could literally see the launch.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's you talked a little bit about your Gardner days there, Wes. So one of the big things I remember from there was the Magic Quadrant. I think I had a new one put in front of me every couple of days. So
So my job at Gardner was I was a glorified librarian, which means that I read all the research and then passed it along. And so the Magic Quadrant is a tool that executives use to make decisions on vendors.
Yep.
And so the best I can do to orate this visually is to basically just say that if you can imagine a square that's broken up into 4 smaller squares, there's the, what is it? It's the ability to execute, and then the completeness of vision are the Y and X axis respectively. So I would say to date, where we have been positioned would be that of a niche player. Our track record speaks to our ability to execute, specifically in the aerospace vertical. Next year, I would see us pushing more into that visionary section, as our vision has really been flushed out, and we're looking to apply some novel technology and really deploy it in a mass way. Within 3 years, I would say we could get into that top right corner and actually be a leader, be a thought leader, be a partner to some of the larger organizations that we serve. So that would be my Gartner analysis. If I had to put my hat back on, but I think it's just in line with the conversation we've all had internally about we want to be that boutique provider, and we already have the track record of delivering as such. What we're doing now is expanding the ability to deliver in new ways. We're doing things that other folks have not done yet because we have this amalgamation of experience that we just get together, and oftentimes things that are unexpected and novel come out.
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah, I have the same thoughts that I could see us being there and someplace to that we want to be. Right. That's the coveted spot is on that top right corner as high as you can get. So
and we'll get there. I mean, part of it is building something that's non-replicable yet highly repeatable. Which, if that's one of those, if everybody could do it, if it was easy, everybody could do it type of things. But I think that we found a really good product market fit, and with the advancements of technology and the way Moore's law has changed, there is just so many ways to think about technology being applied to this industry. So it's an exciting time.
I think Vern got a timeout.
Yeah, my camera locked up for some reason, but it's not locked up here. Weird.
You look very peaceful. You look like you're waiting for Santa to come, like the fire should be crackling behind you.
Well, I can chime in on that, Wes. Yeah. I think to your point about a successful niche, we've been really able to analyze how to perform truly in an excellent fashion. And then, but you're kind of pigeonholed in this one specific arena. And, and you've only got so much time in the day. So, being able to really leverage technology, being able to really put our heads into a buyer's world, the buyer's responsibilities, the purchasing manager's responsibilities, the chief financial officer. I mean, you got to get stuff out the door. And all of these kind of handcrafted tools are going to be amazingly helpful for them. And it's I'm just itching to get them out there.
And it's something that you and I have talked about since we've known each other is how can we make their life easier? How can we make things more convenient for the buyer? And they're such
less stressful.
Yeah, less stressful. That's the denomination, right? Is how can we make their lives less stressful? And I think we've done a good job with what we've built, but time tells all tales. Do you want to? I'm sure Vernon's going to come back. I also think that this is live and recording, so let's just keep rolling. When Vern was younger, he used to take things apart and fix them. I never did anything like that. Did you?
Yeah, I had an erector set. Yeah, I dismantled probably 50% of my toys that were dismantleable. And I would say my success rate was 0 putting them back together properly. I mean, not even single digits. It was 0. I had there was a Hess truck that would light up. It had it was the coolest thing ever. And there wasn't even Hess around Florida back in the day. It was just a green 18-wheeler. But it would light up. And it was literally Christmas afternoon. I destroyed that toy. I was so pissed.
Didn't take long, huh?
No.
Yeah, I've never been much of a mechanical man. I don't mind working on a motor. It's not my skill set. I'll do it with my friends, but I've always been a wordsmith, never a blacksmith. And that's something that even when I was a kid, I would read books that were well beyond my comprehension and then try and understand the large words. And I've always kept a journal of words and what they mean. And we were talking about Vernon's teacher. My teacher that did that for me was my 11th grade English teacher, who gave me a book when I left Pittsburgh. And that's something that I reference all the time. It's in my library. That really instilled my commitment, my ingraining, it ingrained my commitment to writing. That was my teacher that did that.
You should be sure to reach out to that teacher and share that.
Oh, he knows. Gary and I are tight.
Good. Tight. Damn, you were an anomaly. Good job. Yeah, people always say, "Oh, yeah, this teacher made a huge difference." When's the last time you talked to him or her? 27 years.
Yeah,
share.
I'm notorious for when I'm in Pittsburgh. I just show up at the school and I'll hang out in the library and the teachers' lounge, and they're just like, "Oh, hey, welcome back, Sprecher." And it's just like no big deal. Yeah,
That's great.
I was a student section leader, so it was. I've always been a hype man.
Yeah, you're a good one.
Well, we'll keep hyping it up. Well, what do you think in your world was the most important accomplishment in the last year? Business, personal. It's just me and the world listening.
I'll give you two. Not cheating because they're kind of tied together, but I think the biggest for me and for Blue Water Components, it was just saying, as a leader, I'm tapped out. Like I don't have this ability to scale, and having that crystallization in my head, and then just kind of letting that subroutine run in my head and just paying attention what's going on around me. And I don't think I was even. I mean, I was conscious of it, but it wasn't like I'm just constantly beating myself up or this is a problem that needs to be solved immediately.
One of those like, it's okay, I don't have to touch it today.
Yeah, and it's also this is going to take some time. This is not something I'm going to rush into. And God, the universe, serendipity, we start talking, and we're doing some interesting things for the community. And then we had to go somewhere. We both had to do a talk, and I saw that you were one of the 0.001% of people in this world who operate in this industry and had experience. And I was like, that's a sign. And we talked more and more. And so, that's it. And then the second part is, there's a good recipe in this business on how to do it, but there's so much more improvement available. And, just being able, the job you've done so far, just kind of collecting some amazing people and us just talking and then building out amazing technology suites to make this a less stressful job for people I'm insanely excited about it. It's going to be fun. So I was glad I recognized that I sucked at scaling, and I feel amazingly better that it's going in the right direction. So
I think we have a similar, accomplishment in that regard, because I think that you and I met each other at a time where, at least for me, I was going through some big transitions, and you gave me the opportunity to apply a skill set that I know I have. You've seen me use it, but it was different, very different opportunity, very different forum, and it was something that I know about, and so that was uniquely presented. Like you said, the universe, God, whatever you want to call it. We are fortunate to share a similar belief structure. Not everybody thinks the way we do, and that's all well and good, but it takes a level of trust to really build something from nothing. And that's where we are. And it's exciting to see what comes next. Next year, what I'm most excited about is delivering Drip. It's something that we'll have to do our unveil campaign. So those on the internet who I'm sure are following along, but it's something that in one respect is, driven by my desire to engage Generation Z professionally. And that's a missing element in the industry of, okay, who is the buyer of tomorrow? And we've been able to take that focus and really apply it in a different way. So I think that the world is the oyster, as it were. I do have to say, though, I don't know if you know this, one of my personal accomplishments last year, I had one of my first paintings in a gallery. That was in March. So that was a big deal for me. So that was a big accomplishment. And I think on a personal side of, what I'd like to accomplish next year, and I'd like to hear this from you too. Me and my dog hike a lot, and I want to be able to hike with her off leash and have her make it back to the car. So that's one of my personal goals for next year. That's something I'm going to do no matter what, is make sure that my dog knows how to have a walk off leash and return. That's the only personal thing I'm striving for. I will be spending much more time with my dog than human beings in 2025. That's my thought process.
I have a Cesar Millan book I'm going to give you. Change my life with my dogs.
Perfect.
In all sincerity, people would go to my in-laws, and they've got 3 acres that are fenced, and dogs run around like wild. And I'll say to my 2 dogs, come, and they'll come and sit, and they'll sit. And I'm not magic. I just followed Caesar's steps.
All the
And
playbook.
people will say, like, man, they professionally trained him. Like, no, I was like, I'm pretty sure I got it at like Goodwill or something. Like, it was
Well, and that's like
$2.
professionally trained. It didn't happen overnight.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's funny.
You know, I don't have I'm keeping my goal for 2025 open. There's so many plates spinning, so much stuff going on that I hope for peace and prosperity for America and the world. That would be my lame canned answer. And then at a later date, I'll give you a more specific
town
one.
hall, I would second that. This is not town hall.
I know. It's too. CEO is supposed to be diplomatic. Come on, let's chill out.
I know, and you're killing it. You're killing it. Well, I think that's a wonderful goal. I think it's something we all share.
Yeah, agreed. So,
Oh, Vernon, right on time.
We were just wrapping it up. The credits started rolling, Vern.
Yeah, I had to join using my iPad because the
What?
yeah, was the camera not? Let me make sure the camera's on. There we go. Oh, now I'm sideways.
There he
I'm
is.
sideways.
Out here preaching about our technology. We're killing it. This is like
engineering. This is like engineering on Star Trek. Like just making it happen with what you have. I'm impressed.
That's true. That's true. We always used to laugh at Gartner when we would have video conferences and then the link wouldn't work. We're like, we're a tech company and we can't get our tech right. And it's just like the running joke in the culture for years.
Yeah. Yeah, it is.
That's
what
our
it is.
biggest
Just
problem. We
accept
got
it.
great issues. Yeah.
Yeah.
This is the fail fast edition.
We should formulate this. Do we lean to the right or left, Wes?
Yeah. What do you want to do, Brian?
Now,
There you go.
The boat has been righted.
I commandeered some of your questions and threw them at Butch.
Awesome.
I hope you don't mind. But I want to hear what you used to take apart when you were a youngling.
Yeah. So everything. So just about everything. But probably the most famous one, I think I was about 5 years old, and we had gotten and one of the old, and to me not that old, but rotary dial phones from my grandmother's house.
Oh.
And I wanted to make the bell ring. So, there's only one way to make the bell ring. You put power to it. Now, I was at least smart enough somehow at that age to use the outlet that was switched by the light switch. So plugged a couple wires into the outlet, turned on the light switch. It started to smoke. I turned it off real fast. It got a little cooked, and I pretended like nothing was going on. My mother was downstairs cooking and smelled smoke and couldn't figure out where it was coming from, so called the fire department. And fire department shows up, and I'm like, I don't know what's going on. And they traced it up to my bedroom and found the phone, and I got in a little trouble for that.
You're 5 years old and pleading the fifth. That's great.
That's brilliant. That's brilliant. That's funny, man. Jeez, oh Pete's. I have a rotary I have a rotary phone in my house now.
Really?
Mm-hmm. It's not connected. I don't have a landline, but it's the pay phone that I use in my home to call God when I feel like a fraud.
Nice.
Yeah.
Not only did the wordplay work, but it's literally down the hall.
Yeah, they're fun. They are fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. Vern, my story was way lamer than yours. It was just taking apart one of those old school Hess light up trucks
Okay.
that, had a battery and dismantling it on Christmas Day and not being able to put it back together. No fireworks, no fire department.
I took a lot of stuff apart, and for some reason I had a hard time always getting back together. Except I had a somewhat success rate. I mean, I was actually God, that Radio Shack Color Computer 2, I was probably, I'd say probably about 15, maybe 14, 15, when I got brave enough to take it apart and do a memory upgrade on it. You could buy some chips that you could basically solder on top of the other memory chips to double the memory. And actually,
It went from 250 kilobit or 256 kilobits to 512.
something like, yeah, and
Yeah,
yeah,
those numbers are crazy back in the day.
yes, but yeah, I was actually able to get that one to work successfully. And as time went on, I mean, I've gotten better at things, obviously, and it got to the point where my kids and stepkids would break stuff all the time and expect me to be able to fix it no matter what. It's like, okay, guys, there's a limit here, And when you've broken it to the point where pieces are shattered, I really can't fix everything, but I do.
You're
enjoy
now
it.
the electronic world of Gandalf of the electronic world.
Yeah.
Do your little
Yes. And
wand and fix it.
yes.
Doesn't work that way, kids. Yeah.
And I learned early on, and had to teach the kids early on too, that when the magic smoke comes out of the parts, there's no getting the magic smoke back in the parts. It's kind of like blinker fluid. They don't sell magic smoke to put.
I'm totally using that. I'm totally using that going forward. When the magic smoke leaves the box, it's not going back in.
Yeah. Yep.
That's funny.
Yep.
Well, what else is on your mind, Vern? I know we've got some good questions to chat through, and I've stolen them as I've told you. I commandeered your questions.
I think we've gotten through most of them. And I think, the thing I'm most excited about, in the upcoming year is some of the technology that we're going to be putting into place. And,
Yes.
yes,
Called it.
barking.
I'm so happy. I feel complete now. Sorry, Bert.
I'm going to have to bring my dogs into the next one, which is having them in the calls with us. But, sometimes it's good. A lot of podcasters actually have them as a regular part of the show.
That was it. I rang a bell, and you guys didn't hear it. It was all ploy.
Yeah,
Now you're coming back.
You were saying excited about technology.
Yeah, and really being able to use some of the technology that's out there today to help solve problems that people have in unique ways. And it's been something for a while where I've wanted to do a lot of integrations to reach people where they work and the tools they work in. And the other big piece of that is also being able to kind of have that. I always said I want something kind of like TurboTax, but I want it for people working in the electronics industry, especially with obsolescence, working through issues and things like that. I want it to be able to say, when they create an issue for a part, they'll say, okay, well, did you think about this? Have you checked to look and see, if you're thinking about doing a last time buy, have you checked to see, do you even have space for the inventory? When is your next tech refresh and those kind of things. And I think the other thing where AI is really going to be interesting is being able to help with those tech refreshes and planning those out and be insightful in there, because that's something it's tough to do today. But I think with AI and some of the ways it can learn, I think it will actually be able to make suggestions on, hey, stop buying parts that are obsolete and start, working on that next redesign and just being realistic. I mean, there is no such thing as a last time buy. That's why, DoD renamed it Life of Need Buy. It gets you to the next point. It's to the next tech refresh. It's to, the next solution you come up with, or to sunsetting the, whatever it is completely. But then again, sunsetting almost never happens because there's always still units out there that need to be repaired. So I think putting some intelligence behind all that's going to be pretty interesting. And I think, that's where we're going in this next year. I think it'd be pretty cool.
I think that's something that we're all on the same page with, it's just how you use AI to empower people.
Yep.
There's always that fear of, we're going to get replaced. That's not going to happen. people that know how to use AI in their day to day will be the most impactful professionals in any industry sector. You can quote me on that. It's just a fact of the way the world's changing. And so, yeah, I'm excited to see. We're all very excited. I'm at the point now, and you guys know me, I'm very excitable. I'm like the golden retriever on the team. I want to just talk about it. And so, like, we are going to have to cut this off. I'm going to start running my mouth about all the stuff.
You're going to cross the lines.
I'm getting juiced over here.
Too much sharing.
I'm getting really excited. You know me. I'm an oversharer. That's my thing.
Yeah, we got to save some stuff for January, right?
Yeah.
We do.
I think to tease it one more time, Wes mentioned Drip, and Vern hinted at some tools we'll be building, and it will be a progression. We're gonna kind of triage and figure out what can be the most useful, but we're not telling you what it is. But Drip is gonna change your work life. You're gonna love it.
Yep.
And it'll sound cool when you talk about it.
Yes. Yeah.
Let's check out Drip.
Let's talk about Drip. What? Hold on a second. Is that a slang term you just dropped?
Yeah,
or a piece of novel technology? I don't know the difference.
We can make uncool people cool just by using our product name.
Yeah.
It's the goal.
Boom, instant cool.
Make the world a cooler place.
We're
not just
three
that.
nerds trying to help fellow nerds look cool.
It's not just that.
Nerds helping nerds, baby.
It may very well be a character, an emoji type character. It may very well be. I mean, it could, turn into the modern day. Well, no, I don't want to say that. That'd be bad. It won't be the modern day version of Clippy, but
damn it! So, can I swear on this?
if Clippy was
Clippy 2.0 would be awesome.
If Clippy was cool and not annoying, that could be. It could possibly happen.
That could be a big deal.
Personally, I'm a huge Clippy fan. I'm just gonna say that once and for all, and no shame about my Clippy fanatic.
Yep.
Fandom.
Well, that very well could happen. It's within the realm of possibilities. It's we'll see.
I just think there is not one person who's going to be upset with a paperclip showing up on their monitor again. I'm upset that it's not there anymore.
Yeah. Well, it's not going to be a paperclip. Yeah, definitely won't be a paperclip. It might be drippy.
All right. Well, you tickled my fancy, and now you're bringing me back down. I was getting all pumped up. You had something in the chamber I didn't know about. I was like, hold on a second. I'm going to be playing with paper clips over here.
The cool thing is these days you don't have to do it as stop motion animation.
Can it look like one of those instead? Is that not copyrighted?
It covers way more reams.
Yeah.
All right, let's wrap it up. We're getting silly.
Yeah. All right. Yes, absolutely. All right. Well, this was fun, and again, this is hopefully the way it's going to continue in our future podcasts, and we'll everybody hopefully is going to have a great Christmas and into a great New Year, and we've got some great things coming in the next year, and we'll see what kind of cool stuff Santa brings to be able to show off, like animated water drops and
and the like. Sweet.
So
thanks, Vernon.
I appreciate.
Thank you, Vern, very much.
You guys spent here, and look forward to seeing everybody next year for some really cool stuff.
Cool.
Rock and roll.
All right.
All right.
Thanks, everybody.
Merry Christmas, guys.
Merry Christmas.
Thank you.